Hi, my name is Ashley Cimone, and you're tuning in to deuxsol Radio.
Peace, peace.
Hey,
What's up, y'all? It's Ariam.
and Yodit.
And you're tuned in to deuxsol Radio.
That's right, your favorite twins are back talking all things music and culture.
Because 2 takes are better than 1, but twin takes
Are even better.
And we're back with another episode.
Mm-hmm.
And this episode is super special because we have a very special guest, a true creative entrepreneur. You know her as the co-founder and the creative director of the luxury design label, ASHYA.
She's also the managing partner and executive producer at Equator Studio. Please give a warm welcome to Ashley Cimone. Yay! Welcome, Ashley. Ashley.
I love this.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. We are so excited to have you here today.
We've known a lot about the work that you've done, all the creative endeavors that you've had, but we're really excited to just hear from the woman herself and just get to know you.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. And for those who are listening, get on YouTube because this fit right now that Ashley has on
Perfect.
is giving. You just ate us all up today, and we
Yeah.
are so grateful. So thank you.
Yes,
Thank you for
very
that.
sweet. Thank you.
Truly did. You are a true creative entrepreneur,
Mhm.
but we always wanted to know, were you always creative growing up?
I was. I think, you're just born like as a creator. I think we're all creators in different forms. And I was always excited by the idea of materializing what was in my mind. When I was a child, I would sketch and draw, and I learned to paint like as I got older. I had some really incredible teachers. I think education is so important, and like nurturing children's just like the things that they're naturally drawn to is really important. And I feel like I had really great teachers in my youth that encouraged my creativity.
So who or what inspired you with your creativity?
Well, my late older brother taught me how to draw.
Oh, wow.
So I would say he was the first person that really inspired me to really just like lean into my creative, I think what I was naturally good at. And I started drawing portraits like as like a kid.
Oh, wow.
It
That's
evolved in
beautiful.
different ways. I had woodworking classes, like fine arts classes, and
Like when you were in high school even?
yeah, like when I was in high school, I was really drawn to the fine arts.
Wow.
And painting was something that I saw myself evolving into, like professionally.
Oh, wow.
And things just kind of blossomed a little differently.
Wow. So you
Okay.
always had that creative heart in you, and it's just beautiful to hear that the people around you, including your brother, was able to inspire you in that way. And now look where it's led you. That's the beauty of life and creativity, because it has so many legs and can evolve into something even more expansive than you could have imagined as a kid. So
Yeah.
So you started off as a painter, but when did you make that transition when you can kind of conceptualize looks and designs?
Oh, thanks so much for calling me a painter. I've never been called that. I actually studied marketing communications in college. My parents were very adamant about me getting a business degree.
Yes.
So rather than going to pursue painting in like higher education, I pursued a business degree.
Okay.
And so I started. Like when I left high school, I went to North Carolina first to study at a HBCU, North Carolina A&T.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah, very important part of like my like young adult, like teenage experience of being in a educational environment surrounded by people that looked like me. I think it really opened up my my identity as a Black woman, and also gave me a lot of courage to pursue what I truly wanted to pursue. So that was a really incredible experience. I stayed at A&T for 1.5 years studying marketing, and then transferred to the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York.
We're going to ask you about that.
I had a roundabout way of getting here.
Okay, tell us about that.
Tricked my parents.
Did you omit things, or you just
I omitted a lot of things. At the time when I was in college, my friend / like boyfriend at the time, but you know when you're young, it's like, that was my friend.
Right. It's very different then.
Yeah. Was from Connecticut, and we were going away for the summer, and I really had always wanted to live in New York. You know, growing up in the Midwest, I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Both of my parents are from Chicago, and I think like my closest connection to like the fashion like world were like in magazines. And it's funny because this morning I actually came from a taping of the finale of the new season of Project Runway.
So good.
That tracks. That absolutely tracks.
And I was like, man, teenage Ashley would be screaming right now, because I was obsessed with that show. It was one of the things that inspired me to want to pursue a career in the creative industry and fashion. And my mentor, La Roche, invited Anthony and I to the show.
Can we just take a moment to say that again?
Yeah.
Mother Law.
Yes.
Mother Law invited us to Project Runway, and it was a magical experience. Just because I remember when I was a child watching that show and like dreaming of being in New York City, and really going after my like creative pursuits. And it was just really nice to be like on the stage for that.
That's amazing. What a full circle.
Very nostalgic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love moments like that, because we don't realize what ends up shaping who we are and where we end up heading in our lives. But when we hear stories like that, it's really beautiful, because there's always the through line that gets us there.
Yeah.
So it's always
and things
beautiful.
that you forget about.
Yeah.
It's like I forgot how much I was into that show until today, and how much it influenced my desire to move to New York. But while I was in school in North Carolina, while I really, really enjoyed my experience and met some incredible people, lifelong friends, I just felt a draw. Like I was like, I need to be in the city. I need to... I'm a doer. I really like to learn like in practice. And so I wanted to be in the city. That seemed at the time to me to be the place where I should be if I wanted to be exposed to more opportunities as it pertained to like fashion. Because that was really like the dream for me at the time. Like I wanted to work in the industry. I didn't know what job I wanted. And so I took a summer course at FIT called Fashion Shows from Startup to Runway.
Wow. Okay. There you go.
How perfect. The title.
And, convinced my parents to let me stay in Connecticut for the summer. And I would take the train back and forth to the city to go to
dedication.
class. I was so dedicated. I would go back and forth to this class with this woman who hired like back of house like dressers during New York Fashion Week. And one of the opportunities that you could have at the end of the class, because you were ultimately learning about fashion show production.
Wow.
And even at the time, like I wasn't really thinking like I want to learn how to produce a fashion show. It was more so I just want to know like how do these things come to life? Like how do they become real? So she would hire the students after the course was done in the summertime to be backstage dressers during New York Fashion Week in September. And this is when Fashion Week was still intense.
Right.
And the first fashion show that I was a dresser for was Philip Lim X Louboutin. Wow. It was like a Philip Lim Louboutin show. So everything was Louboutin red, the clothes, the shoes.
Wow.
And I'm backstage in the tents like, oh my God, this is... amazing.
Like a
pinching me moment.
I can't believe I'm here. I'm never leaving.
Yeah. Like that cemented it. That probably sold it.
That cemented it. I literally did not leave. And while I was in the course, I secretly applied to FIT and didn't tell my parents because they just assumed I was going back to North Carolina. But I had convinced them over the summer, like, I need a gap semester. Like, I really need to do like a couple of internships. I want to start working. I don't want to like spend another 2.5, 3 years in college kind of just
especially when you
flipping
feel like
pages in a book.
You knew exactly what you wanted. Ish, right? But like at least a direction. Your heart was drawn to fashion and design. And
and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
I mean, I did a lot of things. I interned at a PR firm. I interned at models.com. I interned with a jewelry designer. I really like tested the waters to figure out where I wanted to land, and got into FIT and got a waitressing job and told my parents I only need help for 6 months and then I'll be on my own. And I found a way, and I've been in New York ever since.
Yeah, you took advantage of those 6 months.
I did.
Yeah, because they always say you need at least 6 months to really devote yourself to a goal, and you'd be surprised what can happen. And look,
you've had a plethora of experience as an art director, a creative director, and executive producer. So how would you describe what each role brings to the table, and then also what role comes most naturally to you?
I think as an entrepreneur, you have to wear a lot of hats.
Right.
And it's necessary in order for you to start, run, and grow a business.
Right.
So I'll say that I naturally sat and settled into the role as an entrepreneur, and knowing that I needed to do a lot of things.
Gotcha.
And also have a clear vision for the work, which whether it's designing the product for my brand ASHYA and being able to market that product, like you have to learn how to create content. You have to learn how to take beautiful imagery and communicate. I think it's all communication. It's like you have to learn how to communicate your vision. And so, I mean, I think I have a pretty balanced like left and right brain, which sometimes is a curse because, I would love to spend all of my time just being a creative, but I'm a businesswoman and I really love the chase. I love the hunt. I love, the process of negotiating and pushing ideas forward, finding opportunities, sourcing, resources. So I like all of it.
Nice.
I think as far as the two businesses that I have, what's really beautiful is that I think the work complements each other, and really feeds this kind of yearning that I have to world build and, like I said earlier, like materialize the things in my mind.
I think that's great that you even have that awareness of knowing that you can balance these two elements of yourself in your process, because it really does show up in the work that you do. So
Thank you.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that they can do all these things. I think that can really inspire those who are listening who feel like they have to choose one or the other when they can really exhibit both and practice both.
I think people also neglect the fact that you have to have a creative mind to problem solve. Like I think that creativity often is blanketed as visual, like developing like visual arts or physical things. But I also see a lot of creativity in the business side of things because it requires so much problem solving. You have to be nimble and there's just constant ideation about how to improve. So I don't know. I feel creative in all the things.
I love that.
At the end of the day, it's a part of you, right? It's like being creative is in your DNA. So you just bring it with whatever parts of your life that
it just takes shape in different ways.
I'm also a woman,
Yes. Let's start there.
Yes. Water in the world.
Yes. Natural.
Yes.
I love that.
That is the real gift, for sure.
You've had the opportunity to work with really incredible brands from Essence, Google, GHETTO Gastro as well. You've collaborated with them. I wanted to know, are there any commonalities within your approach to when you collaborate with a brand?
Yeah, really. It doesn't matter how like emerging or large a company is. Like, I think specifically to speak to how I'm collaborating with brands through Equator Studio, our creative studio that develops and produces video, photography, creative concepts across the board. We're expanding as a studio that's moving into experiential.
Amazing.
There might be some other special projects coming, but I think the way that we approach everything is with care. I think that's just the base level that we have to start with, is you approach everything with care and really get an understanding of what the partner's needs are. Like, what's the goal? And how are we supporting that goal? And one thing that's really important to us as a business is really thinking about how do we expand measures of success, where it obviously you have KPIs and things that, you know, reach that's necessary in order for a campaign to be considered successful for a business. But then also, how did you leave that project feeling? You know, was this a good experience for not only just the client, but the talent and the crew? And I think that's something that I try to thread through all of the work so that we feel good when we finish, you know, because there's beautiful things being made every day by so many different people. You know, I think it's so incredible to be a contributor to this canon of work that is being made right now. But how do people feel and working with us? And we don't get everything right, you know, like I'm a small business owner. And so there's mistakes that are inevitable and learnings that happen along the way. But at the end of the day, like, what culture am I helping to like create and contribute to in the work, in this industry, in the workspace? That's really important to me. So I'll say the commonality is just like approaching everything with a sense of care.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful value system to incorporate into the work that you do, because I don't think people realize what goes into a partnership or a collaboration. There's something really powerful about developing that true relationship, and the emotional intelligence that comes with that, and all of those other pieces probably show up in your work. But just even approaching each opportunity with care. I don't think a lot of brands keep that in mind, because the cycle of the process,
it feels like a business.
It feels like very transactional. It feels like all those things. But I think it's really powerful to know that that's how you approach every opportunity, regardless of the brand.
I'm a Black business owner, you know, and I think that with fashion design labels, and I think, you know, my work kind of spans a multitude of things. So I do think that, you know, some people don't even know what I do. Like, I can clarify a little bit, but, you know, I think as a designer, it feels, I think on the external, it seems a bit more personal, because typically you're connected to the designer story, and the teams are smaller in like the early years. And so I'm very much like one-on-one with a lot of the collaborators in those in that business, whether it's designing a product or doing a photo shoot with, you know, a photographer. There's not a whole lot of us on set, and it's very personal. I think with the creative production work that we do, often the crews are much larger. We're working with other brands to help them see their vision through. But I think that it's important as we grow our studio that we also are branded ourselves, and that there's an identity in the way that we approach projects, in the way that we engage the community. So I try to think about Equator Studio as a brand as well. And that's how we're growing it.
Is there a dream brand that you all have ever wanted to work with?
So many. But I'm really drawn to people. I'll say there's this artist. Her name is S. Devlin.
Okay.
I'm
not familiar.
Oh, get familiar. She's amazing.
I feel embarrassed.
She's amazing. No, it's okay. I actually learned about her work on this Netflix series, Abstract.
Okay.
And her work is mostly rooted in lighting and stage design. And she started in theater.
Oh, wow.
And her work evolved into like big concert like productions.
Oh, wow.
She's worked with like huge music artists like Beyonce, like
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
Jay-Z and U2 and huge like bands and artists and things like that. And there's something about her work that really inspires and excites me, because it's kind of a merging of performance and design, that I think is has definitely like sparked some ideas for me in my future career, and I would absolutely love to collaborate with Ez Devlin. I'm gonna put that out in the universe.
Put that out. You said it here.
Claim it right here.
You spoke it up.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Again, another discipline that you're just into. Like there's no limits to what you're passionate about. So I think that's really cool.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I hope that as like I grow as an individual, my design practice grows along with me.
Yeah. Always evolving.
Always evolving and honoring like the young like painting Ashley inside.
Yes. Yeah. You are the co-founder and creative director of the incredibly chic luxury design label ASHYA. And we are lucky enough to have an ASHYA bag here with us.
In the flesh.
We'd love to know just the origin story behind the label.
Yeah, we started ASHYA after, and by we, I mean myself and my co-founder, Moya Anise. Our journey together started at FIT. As
so you guys
classmates.
Wow.
And after going on our first like international like trip together and really thinking about how we would contribute to the industry, design was something that was interesting to both of us. And our lifestyles were very like transient at the time. We were, in the city, on the train, walking to class, taking our first like international travels, as just like young adults on our own, and wanted to design an accessory that really was conducive to that type of lifestyle. So after a trip to the southern coast of India, we're riding mopeds to the beach and things like that, we searched pretty tirelessly for contemporary belt bags. And we're having a hard time finding them. This was back in like 2015. You could either find bags at Urban Outfitters, or they were like nylon fanny packs, or you're looking at like vintage like Chanel or Louis Vuitton bags and things like that. And so at the time, which the gap has been filled since then, but at the time there was a gap in the contemporary space of belt bags. And so we designed some, and that was the launch of the brand. And since the brand has expanded to incorporate silhouettes that we consider travel-friendly accessories for all genders.
Yeah, I was going to say, what we love so much about the brand is that all of your products carry this distinct style and look and feel, and you said silhouette. And I always wanted to know how you landed on it, because it's beautiful, but also it looks practical.
Yeah.
So now that we know the context, it makes so much sense.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, practicality has always been like a really important, like a part of our design ethos. In thinking about creating functional, wearable items. And I think about function in all the things that I eventually will design. And yeah, so that's kind of where it started, and like wanting to create things that could be useful. And then thinking about the things that people would need them for. So like this bag, for instance, this is a Shima slingback bag. It almost is like a reinterpretation of a briefcase and a backpack. But for day to night, like wear, leather is such a beautiful material, and I think elevates any look. So, we designed something that would be very useful, and that could, you could fit an iPad in there, you could fit a notebook. or just your lip gloss if that's how you roll.
Listen, it's all inclusive. Okay,
Yeah.
we love it. I've been obsessed with it since when I first laid my eyes on it. So just seeing one in person and just hearing the backstory, getting that context is so cool.
And then you have like the straps, right?
Yeah.
But then you can also use it as a handbag, I'm assuming here.
Yeah, the top handle.
Yeah.
So if you want to carry it in your hand, you can.
And that's pretty consistent within the designs, that handle on the top.
The intention for all of the designs to be multifunctional. Like you should be able to wear them at least 2 ways.
Yeah.
So this can go over the shoulder, across your body, and hold it in your hand.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love all the designs. I love the colors, even the textures between the different bags. So well thought out and so chic. Like
truly.
This is the ideal line. Truly.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. But speaking of the Shima slingback bag, this bag was recently worn by Coleman Domingo on the upcoming Netflix series, The Four Seasons, which is dropping this week. How did it feel to see your bag on one of the most stylish actors in Hollywood today?
I mean, Coleman Domingo is a vision.
Yeah,
like,
truly.
He's truly impressive. I think even listening to him speak about his career and his just philosophies, I think that he is really the ideal like image of a person that would wear ASHYA bags.
Right.
And I feel like I manifested this. I've been tracking him down. I'd reached out to his stylist, Wayman and Micah, this styling duo. They're incredible and have been very supportive of the brand from the beginning. They style Coleman across, I guess, all of the things that all of the incredible
like
things.
events,
red carpets, all those
magazines,
things. And,
covers,
had reached out to them just like, planting a seed. If you ever need a bag or if Coleman's ever interested, like I would love for him to wear an ASHYA bag. Just touch one of them.
Yeah. Just touch it. That'd be great.
And I mean, I think that what's so special about that is just that he's someone that has really like committed to his artistry and is at a place of blossoming in his career. That's really beautiful. So to be a part of that, just a small part of that is really nice.
I know you've said you tried to get the bag to Coleman.
It wasn't directly. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know who connected the styling team for the show.
Right, because it could have been the costume designer on the set as well.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know, but the show reached out to us and asked to pull bags for the potential of him wearing a bag for the first season, and it was like, yeah.
I mean,
absolutely,
it fits Coleman, to be honest.
I mean, it looks so good on him.
It's a bag for him for sure.
Yeah.
It just shows that you don't know what can happen if you reach out. If you have something on your mind,
slide in those DMs.
Like I'm like, wow, like look what happened, like this full circle moment again.
Yeah,
I love that. We talked about ASHYA and we talked about the impact that you have led so far in the world of fashion, but we wanted to talk to you about you and Moya's feature on Ebony magazine, which is so amazing in itself, like a staple in Black culture when you think about Black entrepreneurship and just Black culture in general. What did that moment feel like for you to get a feature like that?
It never gets old, honestly. I think anytime someone acknowledges the hard work that you've been putting in over the years, it's like extremely flattering. And I really appreciate our community, Black editors, for supporting ASHYA from the very beginning and always speaking positivity on our brand. So, I mean, I think it just consistently feels good.
It's amazing.
It's like rewarding. It's like when you're so deep in the work, you're thinking about the next thing and the next thing. Sometimes you need others to just give you your flowers and be like, look what you're doing. You're doing incredible work. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, entrepreneurship is not for the weak. And often it feels isolating and challenging to move through and like grow through. But yeah, those affirmations are really helpful.
Yeah. So as a designer yourself, how do you think fashion plays a role in storytelling?
Ooh, as a designer myself in storytelling, I think that fashion is such an important storytelling piece for characters, for times. You think about, I love period piece films where you get transported to another time and the wardrobe or the accessories or the objects in the space will be indicative of that time or will tell you something about the individual or the community. And I think fashion is just, it's a part of the story and can be an important part of a story for someone's life. You know, what you wear, say something about who you are or what's important to you or how you want people to experience you. I think that is often how fashion shows up in our everyday lives. But in film and media, I think fashion enhances whatever story you're trying to tell.
It informs like the characters, the people. It just gives them another dimension to who they are, extension of them, essentially.
1000%.
We know you work with your husband, Anthony, who we've had on the show. What's it like to be able to collaborate in this way when you're thinking about the work that you all do for Equator Studio?
I mean, I think that our shared ambitions are really magical when they come together. And it's been beautiful to watch Anthony grow professionally, to be able to support that growth and to also be supported by someone who I know cares about me beyond us becoming financially, you know, successful. I think that our work is our first child. And it's exciting to see where it's come so far. I met Anthony as an aspiring director and we put our brains together and built Equator Studio. And I'm really proud of what it's become and the vision that we have for the future because we're always looking ahead. And I mean, I'll say it's challenging. It's extremely challenging to work with your partner, to try to find balance, to separate work from your personal life and even prioritize the romantic part of your relationship when you have two extremely ambitious people who also are at the work table together and on conference calls together and managing a team together. So, I think you just have to really love that person. You have to really be committed to the vision for it to work.
That's all it comes down to.
And you know, I pray everything continues to blossom the way that it's blossoming, and that we can handle the pressure of it all. It's hard, but it's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah, we love that. Thank you for your transparency and your vulnerability. I think it's super important to talk about all these things. But it sounds like you guys have had this beautiful partnership across the board, and even having that awareness, I'm sure, comes a long way because then you all know how to navigate in those types of times. So
I mean, it's good to find mentors. It's good to ask for feedback and support. And I think it's important for people to know, like, this is not for the faint at heart. Entrepreneurship is not for the weak. Working with your lover is not for the weak. It takes a lot of vulnerability. It takes a lot of hard work, but I think it's worth it.
Love it.
It's beautiful. Really
Well
inspiring.
said.
Really
Well said.
inspiring.
So what does the future hold for Ashley Cimone?
I really am excited to lean further into my design practice and expand on it and see what that blossoms into. I've been really excited by the intersections of my work in like product design, but also in media. So I imagine seeing some newness blossom from those things. I don't know. I'm like, I don't want to put guardrails around what it is. I'm really in a place of introspection right now and thinking about what I want for myself as an individual, as a woman, and thinking about what's important to me. And I've found that creating intimacy in my relationships and community with like-minded individuals is really important to me and has really allowed me to settle into my role as a creative entrepreneur. So I think the future is really limitless. I don't know. But
love that.
I don't know. I think fine arts might be in my future.
Okay.
But we'll see.
I love it. Let's leave it there then.
Let's leave it there.
We feel like, you know what? Let's not put any bounds to what's in store for you.
It's limitless.
Who knows? But we're excited to see whatever it is you get into in the future.
Thank you so much.
Well, Ashley, thank you so much for joining us on deuxsol Radio. It was a pleasure to get to know you and talk through everything that you're doing and just get to know who you are.
Honestly, this is so lovely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. For our audience, if they want to keep up with you and all the work that you're doing, where can they follow you, find you, socials, all of that?
Yeah. Well, I'm Ashley Cimone on social media, ASHLEY. Cimone with a C, Cimone. You can also find my businesses at ASHYA.co, ASHYA.co on Instagram and online. And then there's also Equator Studio on Instagram and online. There's Equator.studio. Equator like the center of the earth, EQUATOR.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much again.
Yeah. And that wraps up today's episode. If you like what you heard, you can keep up with us on our socials at DEUXSOL. That's at deuxsol. You can also watch us on YouTube and Spotify. And you can listen to us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts. If you can hear it, we'll be on it. And till next time, guys. Peace.